Southern California, AM 1220, KHTS. The show is Fred Arnold in the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight. I'm with Ben Parker. Ben Parker is a financial advisor at Edward Jones. He's Australian, because you'll notice in his voice. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I love the accent. You live here in Santa Clarita Valley with your wife and 2 kids.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, how did you end up in Southern California in Santa Clarita?
That's a great question. And essentially, I tell people that I came here by cruise ship. But the story behind that is I used to work for Princess Cruises. Mm-hmm. So they corporate sponsored me to come and work for them here in the valley. Uh-huh. And after that matured, that position, I decided to get into the finance game. So
tell us about that financial advisor and what you do for Edward Jones.
Okay, so Edward Jones it's a kind of an interesting company. They have a different style of doing business to most of the other financial firms. They basically put a small office in the communities that they serve. And the reason why that's different is that the other kinds of places generally work out of one building and then, you call into that. So we like to be right in the communities where we serve.
Yeah, real locally. What makes Edward Jones different in your experience?
Well, definitely that aspect, that direct insertion into the communities that we serve. Mm-hmm. And then the company itself, it's a partnership, so it really supports the idea of supporting the communities that you work in. So they really encourage you to get out, do community events, come on radio shows mm-hmm. like this.
So they actually encourage it, because many firms are limited on what you can do.
Exactly.
So let's talk about your consultative environment that you have. And when you meet with somebody, how do you approach that consultative environment with somebody?
That's also a very good question, Fred. Thanks for asking. So the idea behind the way we consult is that we don't want to go in and drown people in the numbers. First, we want to really understand what's important to them and what kind of vision they have. And then we start laying in the framework how they can achieve that vision, be it a vision for retirement or saving for their kids' college. Saving for kids' college, that kind of thing. And then basically we go, we're going to partner with you and make sure that you stay on track to achieve those goals.
And, there's a lot of things people have to look at. One is retirement planning. What's some of the best advice you've given people on retirement planning? Early and often, right?
Basically, early and often is definitely one of the ways. You just can't stress that. That's like one of the rules you can't break. Right, and then the other thing is do you have an IRA? Have you considered a Roth IRA? Mm-hmm. There are a lot of tools out there mm-hmm. that people aren't making use of, and I feel that's like a great thing just to let people know. Is like, hey, the government has helped you out in this way. I know it doesn't sound always good what comes from the government, mm-hmm. but in this case, this is a really good tool. Let's see if it works for you.
Great product and how it works best for them. And let me ask you this: why choose a financial advisor versus trying to do it yourself?
Okay, well, one is I think that this job is very stressful. So why try and take on that stress yourself, move it across to someone else? And then the other thing is that you have an emotional tie to your funds, your retirement, mm-hmm. these visions. So if something does happen in the market, I think people are too close to those funds, mm-hmm. and they'll make decisions that aren't always in their best interest.
Yeah, they get attached to a product and afraid to sell it, or they get attached to something because there's an emotional tie to that particular company or product or industry.
Yeah, and the other thing is probably I was talking to a fireman recently, and he was telling me about the fireman's way of investing, and he's like, basically their strategy is buy high and sell low. And, he was describing a situation where he's had that experience 3 times in a row, and he's like, now I'm out of the market, which is not the right and best response. Like, out is not good.
Yeah.
Inflation is your killer, minus 3% a year, right?
Yeah, right.
So he's like, I wish I met you 5 or 6 years ago because I needed that emotional stability to get me through this period, and I just know that my results would have been better.
Much better, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ben, those that want to reach out to you and get that consultative consultation with you, how can they reach out to you? How can they get you?
Well, we have a website for starters, so www.edwardjones.com, and then you can just search for me as an advisor. And then my direct phone, because I'm always out, basically. I'm trying to meet people.
You're always out in the community. I see you at all the chamber events.
Hey, I'm a business builder.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
So 661-537-4050 is my
One more
direct.
time, 661?
661-537-4050.
Great. Thanks for coming in.
It's been my absolute pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ben Parker, financial advisor for Edward Jones Investment. Hope you enjoyed this edition of the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight on AM 1220.